It is raining at the proving grounds today, and I'm going to be assisting a landowner tomorrow. So I wanted to get this episode out, and we're filming in the office.
Well, we're getting everything laid out, get ready to pack up the truck to head to Florida tomorrow. We're going to be chasing Osceolas and hogs.
The turkey season in South Florida is the earliest that I know, and is a great area to chase turkeys and hogs. Clay and I were excited to return to the La Hamaca Ranch in South Florida and hunt with our friend John Horn. John's the wildlife manager of that ranch. Thinking we were going on spring break, we were in for a bit of a surprise as the opening morning of turkey season, it was 39 degrees and very windy.
Turkeys, I think, are in shock, and they're not shock gobbling. It's just cold this time of year, so we haven't heard anything. We saw one hen.
The toms were quiet and it was cold for me, but we still set up at several places. During these conditions, I usually don't call much and rather consider these days an excellent scouting opportunity. I plan to chase hogs this hunt and also use this opportunity to look for fresh hog sign. The La Hamaca is a working cattle ranch, and this type of habitat is excellent for turkeys and hogs.
Turkey hunting. But I have my bow back at the lodge.
Areas similar to this that have a repeating pattern of food cover water in close proximity can hold a lot of critters and creates lots of edges and bottlenecks, which is much easier to hunt than a large tract of homogeneous habitat, say a large stand of timber or an extra large pasture.
It's dry in Florida. And I mean, this normally has water in it, just a little bit out there, so they're hungry. They're eating before dark. We're gonna go get the bow, try to slide out. I don't know if we got time, but tomorrow afternoon, pork with the prime, or prime pork. We're gonna get some prime pork.
Growing Deer is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Also by Reconics, Eagle Seed, Winchester, Lacrosse Footwear, Morel Targets, Hoyman, Hooks Custom Calls, Summit Tree Stands, RTP Outdoors, Yamaha, Fourth Arrow, Onyx Hunt, Scorpion Venom Archery, Bloodsport Arrows, Code Blue, D-Code, G5 Broadheads, Prime Bows, and Redneck Hunting Blinds.
I believe there's 2 toms, but only one is gobbling now, so probably hens. Older toms with hens, satellites kind of cruising around. They're in that hardwood block in front of us, kind of staying in there, gobbling every now and then, so we're gonna get down there to the edge of that block, listen, probably try to get ahead of them, set up and see what happens.
We hadn't been on the move long when we spotted several toms in an adjacent pasture. They appeared to be moving our way, so we found a small opening and planned to call them in. When you can get in front of a tom in the direction he's headed, it's much easier to call them in than trying to call a tom that's headed a different direction. There was some cover between us and the toms, so I set out an Avian X HDR hen about 20 yards in front of our setup.
There they are, right there. They're coming. They're coming. I think those are jakes. There's a longbeard. South Florida, Osceola, live oaks, palmettos. That's some good action right there. That never gets old to me. I love it when they're responding to the call. My first turkey with the banshee, little small slate. They were checking out that decoy, weren't they?
Oh man, yeah.
I mean, they were all right there at it.
Yeah. Yeah, the 20 gauge flattened him. Of course, it was a close shot. I was shooting a Winchester 20 gauge loaded with Longbeard XR number 5s. And when you slow the footage down, you can see how tight that pattern remains and drops that tom in his tracks.
Well, I may have to spook those because I'm ready to go check that rascal out. Safety's on.
950.
A lot of good hunting left to go today.
The wind was forecast to remain strong the rest of the afternoon, which meant it would be excellent stalking conditions for hogs. When we returned to the lodge, I grabbed my bow and took a few shots at the morel target to make sure the pins hadn't moved during the long drive. The prime had traveled well and it was dialed in, so I was ready to add some pork to the cooler.
Had a great turkey hunt this morning, so I've got the prime out chasing some pork. Yesterday, when Clay and I were turkeying in this area, we saw a couple of different sets of hogs. I actually walked up really close to a group. Got about an hour and a half before dark. We're gonna cruise around in the palmettos here in the trees and see if we can't get within bow range of some South Florida hogs.
There was a lot of hog sign throughout the ranch. We could easily see where the hogs had been rooting in the pastures. A few years ago, I'd had a great hunt in one of the pastures behind the lodge. The hogs had come out of a hammock to feed in the pasture, and there were enough scattered trees in that pasture that made great cover so I could stalk close enough for a shot.
She's down.
Based on that hunt and the current hog sign, Clay and I decided it'd be a great place to try again.
Well, heck, we're not 200 yards from the truck, and creek makes a big bend back here, and I see a black hog all the way back there now, so plan's working good. Wind's in our favor. See if we can cut the distance. There'll probably be some more between here and there, so gotta move as fast as, ooh, that's a good one there. That's a big one. Move fast, but not spook something along the way.
Hogs have fairly poor eyesight, and if you move slowly from cover to cover, you can almost always get within range. The wind was in our face, so we began working toward them slowly, keeping trees or brush between them and us. There were many hogs in the area, and they seemed to be keeping each other on edge, so we moved extremely slowly the last few yards. The wind was still favorable and there was a lot of hog sign in the area, so we decided to stay put and see if more hogs would come out of cover and feed in the pasture. As the light was fading, more hogs entered the pasture. These hogs were feeding in an area where the grass was tall enough to cover their head as they fed, so we started stalking closer to close the distance.
Talk a lot about hunting limited resources, and it's true for all the critters we hunt, even hogs. Hogs love water. They need water daily, not only just to drink, but when it's warm like this, to wallow in and stuff. There's a little spot of water. It's really dry in South Florida, so made a big stalk. I messed up one stalk. I got caught moving. Was patient. Those came back. Some more came in. Made the shot.
The shot seemed good, and it sounded like the hog didn't make it very far, but we decided to return to the truck, grab some flashlights before we took up the trail.
Clay and I had a cool hog hunt. Made a shot over here. Man, it looked good. I believe I heard her go down over here just 50, 60 yards. We're gonna go look for blood, but I'm confident enough. I got the buck cuff, so I can drag this one out. It's like, oh, I got blood right here. Here we go.
Oh yeah, that's good blood.
Yeah, that's good blood. Good. Oh yeah, it's all over. All right, so let's go slow to go fast. I got blood right there. Here. Oh, it's looking good, Clay. Looking good here. Yeah, here. Right there. How about right there?
How about that?
How about that, buddy?
Nice.
I'm talking, what, 50 yards at the max?
Yeah.
At the max. Hey, this is a lot nicer than the other one. I don't even have to jump back and scare you. We know where this one is. Make sure Brutus isn't around here somewhere. Heck yeah, perfect eating size. Look at that. Perfect eating size. I'll flip it over and see the damage here. Thing went down in 50 yards for a hog to do that. Oh, hogs are always heavy. Heavier than they. How about that, boys and girls? Look at that. I'm in the shoulder. Right behind the shoulder. Oh no. I can feel the off shoulder. I mean, it's buried on the off shoulder. It doesn't get any better than that. Man, I am thankful for that. I'm not sticking my hand in there, but I see smaller cutters, but perfect eats in size. And the mosquitoes are bad, so we're taking this to the truck, or bringing the truck here, and we're telling more of this story at the skinning shed. Man, made it just a fun shot on this hog. Perfect hole going in. Went through, and I felt down in here carefully. Broke a rib. I'm gonna skin it out, make sure it's what I'm feeling. Of course, get meat. And put the broadhead in the offside shoulder. This shoulder is probably not gonna be good to eat anyway, so I'm gonna start right here just to see what we got. Rib that it blew through. Next rib it went through, it was quartern, so it actually cut all the way through 2 ribs on the way in. What makes this even more impressive is this year I'm shooting a 50-pound prime bow, 28-inch draw. So mechanical broadhead, I used a dead meat, mechanical broadhead, 50-pound bow, about 24, 25-yard shot, rips through 2 ribs, stuck in the off shoulder. And I tell people all the time, and this is so much tougher than a deer. Man, you don't need to pull a really heavy bow, and you can make your bow quieter by dropping the weight. It's getting late. Clay and I are gonna go to work on getting the meat off this hog because we're turkey hunting in the morning.
If you'd like to see a step-by-step guide of how I debone a feral hog, check out Growing Deer episode 278. I was thrilled we already had fresh wild turkey and pork and was ready to hunt the next day. There were many lessons from this hunt, but one that applies no matter where you hunt is finding areas that have food cover and water in close proximity almost always results in excellent hunting opportunities. Habitat with this many edges makes it easier to find and pattern critters because these edges make pinch points where critters will be traveling. Whether you're hunting deer, turkey, or hogs, understanding how they travel between resources and finding pinch points between those resources makes it much easier to put fresh meat in the freezer. Clay and I had many more great hunts during that trip, and next week I'll share the hunt for a big Florida Osceola and how we used hunting and decoy strategies to tag that tom. I've already booked my hunt for next year at the La Jamaica Ranch. If you'd like to hunt there, use the contact information on the screen to reach out to John Horn, the ranch's wildlife manager. If you are getting ready for turkey season and/or enjoy learning about turkey hunting strategies, check out our turkey hunting playlist. I realize many folks are worried about the current virus situation or their lives have already been impacted due to canceled events, work schedules, whatever. But remember, it's still a great time to get outside and enjoy creation. That's actually excellent therapy during this season of our lives, but most importantly, take time every day to be quiet and listen to what the Creator is saying to you. Thanks for watching Growing Deer.
Last time they were way up at that next one.
Isn't that I think it was here.
Yeah, it may have been right over here.
Yeah, because this is that bush they were kind of coming around, isn't it? I think it's right here. And bunch right back
Yeah,
there.
there's a big spot up there.
Spot right here. Man, they're tearing this pasture up.